Welcome back, everyone. Today we have an interesting news story for you. So this broke yesterday. The letter is dated yesterday, and it went out to the FFL community, particularly ones who are dealers, who are exporters primarily. So a friend of mine sent this over, and I will get into how it impacts him in here in just a second. But I've never actually discussed anything similar to this here on the channel because I don't think it's happened, at least not in this specific way. Now, in this video, essentially, we're just going to talk about what the letter says here that we'll talk about here in a second. And then I'm going to discuss possible reasons this may be going on, and then is it connected to something larger? I don't know the answers to that, and we will discuss why, etc. as we go on. So basically yesterday, the Bureau of Industry and Security sent out a memo titled Firearms Pause and Review Frequently Asked Questions. So many folks will know this organization, at least what they do. Previously as ITAR, I think in 2020 that was changed, where this organization took over most of what ITAR typically covered up until that point. And ITAR, for folks that don't know, is essentially the laws and rules regulating what weapons and weapons technology is exported as well as imported into the United States. So we'll just get into it here. Effective immediately, the U.S. Department of Commerce is pausing for approximately 90 days the issuance of new export licenses involving certain firearms, related components, and ammunition under its jurisdiction, and the provision of new export assistance activities for such products to all non-governmental end users worldwide, apart from those certain designations. That is a wordy statement right there. The department in this part is key. The department may take additional steps to further U.S. national security and foreign policy interests. So it goes down and essentially says the types of items that are regulated, which is like the ECCN A01, A501, and it lists 5 categories, and basically what those are is firearms, ammunition, optics, lasers, lights, like weapon lights, things like that. But what I think is interesting about it is that what is not regulated on this list is, because they have categories for everything under their regulatory system. Shocker, the government. But what is not regulated under this is software, which is big if you're thinking about like a national security issue. Microchips, and training. So those 3 are not regulated, but firearms, ammunition, optics, lasers, lights, etc., all of those sorts of things like scope mounts, those things are suspended for 90 days, and it goes on to make a point that they are exempting certain markets, including Israel and Ukraine. And so what does that mean? Well, it means a few things. There are, I believe, 42 countries that are on that list total, and I will roll in a screenshot. I just typed them out here in my notes for you guys to check out. So all of these countries are exempt from this, including Israel and Ukraine. So why are they doing this? Well, there's a few theories that I've kind of come up with, and these aren't in any particular order, but I do think there's possible truth to all of them. So one reason that the Biden administration could be doing this, because of course they are the ones behind this, this is an executive agency, is that they are doing it to damage domestic gun, ammunition, optics production, i.e. just reduce their capacity to exist. That is entirely possible given this president and the types of things that he's been doing. That said, I don't think that is the most likely reason, but it's certainly possible. Another plausible one is to prevent guns, optics, etc. getting into the hands of people that we don't want them to get into. So one of the big, I guess, things that has come out of recent events is that depending on which analyst you look at or which study you look at, anywhere between 50 to 80% of the arms, small arms that have been sent to Ukraine have gone somewhere else, have been smuggled somewhere else for profit, for the oligarchs, the government people, etc., to benefit from in Ukraine. Now, those weapons have shown up in lots of places around the world that the United States government just doesn't like the optics of. There's no doubt about that. That absolutely rather has happened. Whether or not that is what this is for, maybe. If you look at the countries that are, exempted from this, they're all pretty, I guess, friendly countries, with the exception of Russia, South Africa, in terms of how we perceive them, and maybe Turkey. So I don't know why those would be exempted, but they are. But that certainly is something that I guess could be a reason they're doing this. The other one that seems plausible, in my opinion, is that if you look at the news reports, there's been lots of reports that we have shortages of lots of war-type items in America, and that maybe. The federal government is gearing up or pushing towards a war type stance and policy where we want to keep these items in-house for reserve stocks for the federal government. Maybe. I don't know. When you combine that theory, though, with the recent news that possibly, and I have a full video on this, check it out, possibly President Biden has told the Lake City ammo plant, which is the largest ammo plant and makes all of the military ammo, like small arms ammo in America, has possibly told them to stop production, or excuse me, stop sales of 5.56 to the civilian market. Maybe. Additionally, if you combine that with the fact that the sale of pretty much all of the big ammunition companies in America, Federal, Remington, etc., were recently sold. The sale was finalized recently, I should say, to a foreign company in the Czech Republic. And then if you look around, like, so I'm an FFL, many of you guys know that, so I can see like distribution stocks, like distributor stocks. And so like right now, when 5.56 is coming in stock at distributors' websites, it is lasting for like maybe 10 minutes, literally, because retailers are buying it regardless of the price. And as you guys have seen right now, 5.56 is selling regularly for 55 cents a round and up. And additionally, if you look for components on distributor websites, like RSR is the one that I always use as the biggest example, it's gone. Like, so there's no brass casings or just spare brass to be had. It just doesn't exist right now. Could all of those things be happening because of each other, i.e. like the domino chain and the supply chain? Maybe. It's possible. Another thing I thought about recently, especially with the, I think it was Thursday, Governor DeSantis announced that he organized, as well as Florida government officials, a large shipment of firearms, drones, and things like that to Israel, and that it made the federal government look bad. I don't know how true that is, but politics is what it is, so entirely possible. Another one that I think is probably higher on the list of possibilities of why they're doing this, in my opinion, is just to see if they can get away with a ban for 90 days, a temporary ban, and to see if they can make it permanent and just further restrict the free market of firearms, ammunition, etc. like that in the country. I think that probably is one of the top theories as to why they're doing this, at least in my opinion, because this administration has made multiple statements that they, like publicly, they're not hiding it, that they want to see the firearms industry damaged in any way possible. Of course, this was announced Friday, a couple days after the mass shooting in Maine. And that, of course, is a good time to rally the troops, the anti-gun troops, behind any further restrictions on firearms and exportation. Now, it's important to remember that these are for exporting licenses. So as of right now, there's no further restrictions on importing licenses. That said, many of you guys follow me on social media, which if you're not following me on social media, I definitely recommend you do that, because that's where these stories tend to break, as well as great deals on stuff as well. But I reported on the changing of how parts kits are happening. That happened about 2 weeks ago. The ATF just changed how AK kits, for example, MP5 kits, and some other less popular firearms have to be imported, just to further restrict the firearms supply in America. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on in this case, but I don't think it's happening in a vacuum. Now, what I mentioned earlier is that I was initially sent this by a friend of mine who is an exporter, and one thing he was telling me is that he runs a company that this is kind of what they do. They export firearms and lots of other things, explosives and all types of other stuff from America. And what he was telling me was his opinion is that large companies that are very common and used to the export game, if you will. So companies like Ruger or Daniel Defense is a popular one, that are Colt. They do a lot of exporting. Is that this is for new licenses only. So like if a new company, a foreign company comes to a exporter and says, hey, I want to buy, I don't know, just hypothetical, 10,000 Palmetto State Armory AR-15s. Well, that exporter can apply for a new license for that contract and go ahead and export them, provided it gets approved. Now, again, that's what they're saying that they're cutting off here in most instances. But that large companies, the companies that do it all the time and have standing licenses, like in perpetuity licenses, that they're not going to be affected by this as much. So again, what does it mean? I don't know. I suspect that in the next couple of weeks, Other similar items like this will continue to happen, and a much more clear picture will come of it. Normally I don't like to make videos where I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but you guys beat me up about it. You guys are asking me all about it. So I want to tell you what I know and what I think might be going on, but we don't know. And at this point, this administration certainly isn't going to tell us these types of things. So that's about it, guys. That's all I got for you. Kind of a weird video, a one-off video. Hopefully we don't have to do more, but unfortunately I think we will. So with that in mind, like I mentioned, if you're not following me on all of my social medias, I definitely recommend you do so. And if you're not subscribed here and you like videos like this, it's not typically what we do, but sometimes we do them, go ahead and hit that subscribe video, hit the notification bell. If you've done both of those and you're still not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, you can sign up for the email list at the website here on your screen. This one goes out once a month. It actually just went out like 2 days ago. And it has all of the videos from the previous month's email in there. So that way there's no big tech giant or algorithm censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, if you guys like deals on all the things that are prohibited here, ammo, optics, guns, etc., it goes out every day in my daily deals email, which contains 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. Additionally, if you guys are signed up for that, you will get our daily meme, which is pretty spicy and typically things that we are not allowed to post on many of the social media sites out there. And a lot of folks seem to like that. But if the item is in that email, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet for that particular item on that particular day. So hopefully it saves you guys some time and saves you some money as well. And with that, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.